Good evening, everybody. This is your captain speaking, I guess. We are sitting at the airport in Adelaide. Let's see if I can swing this camera over to get some light on the controls here. That's better. I'm a little worried that some of these things are not lit up, but I'm hoping that that is just a new thing that spat.next has done. That it is actually using the airplane's power to determine whether or not these should be on, which would be accurate because the plane is not yet powered up. Come on, track IR. So, plan today is to fly almost straight north into the middle, the very center of Australia. And we're going to see how that turns out for us. Does the camera work out? No. Okay, there it goes. It doesn't look like there's any controllers on VATSIM. We're on VATSIM anyways, but we'll see how that goes. We are... It's interesting. We are sitting here at Gate 19, Qantas 1954, flying from Adelaide to Alice Springs Airport. So let's see if we can get this thing up and going. Interestingly enough, the yeah, see, none of this is working. Why is none of this working? Spad? What happened? What has happened? It says it's on. Aircraft power off. That's not true that we're on external power. Is it gonna wait until we get batteries going? I don't actually know what it's using to determine whether or not we have power, because we have external power now. So we'll try to fire up the APU and see if that'll help. Because as you can clearly see, we do have power in the cockpit. So that's odd. It's new. I haven't flown this since the last time and so much stuff has changed. Why? Never mind. We can we just give it virtual power? We'll just do that, I guess. I guess I will have to bind that to something to actually make this work properly. That doesn't have virtual power, but the CDU has virtual power now, which is great. Don't get me wrong, like it is excellent that we can now have the power in here tied to the actual state of the aircraft. It just means I have actual work to do. Alright, get the ADIRs aligned. We do now have the APU running already. So that's excellent. We're still running off external power though, but we can actually turn off the external power now. There we go. Oxygen supply. Get the beacon on. Get nav lights on as well.
Arm doors and cross check.
Actually, I guess we don't need that.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety.
Not 100% sure what you're talking about at the moment there, Axeman, but I'll let you go with it.
Fasten your seatbelt. Insert the flat metal edge into the buckle and pull on the straps tight. Release just push the top flap of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened low and tight and press your lap key when the seatbelt sign is off and have it visible to the crew at all times.
Oh, did they really? Well, they must really like you. I mean, they don't do that for just anybody.
Wrap the strap around your waist.
So consider yourself lucky. Fuel 9720. That's pretty much what we've got here at the moment, but I guess we can tweak it.
This Airbus A320 is an emergency exit. 2 doors in the front, 4 window exits over the wings, and 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and open the ramp. All exits are clearly marked with a sign overhead if necessary.
Alright, let's get our FMC set up here.
Please take a moment now to locate your closest exit and remember it may be behind you.
The flight attendant is already giving the passengers all the instructions when there are not actually any passengers aboard yet. But that's fine. I turned on the nav lights too early. That's my fault. I guess that is my fault.
Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others. That will let you know when it's no longer needed. While we passing through the cabin to make sure we are ready for departure, you can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is upright, your seat table is good, and all tight.
Now we actually get passengers going on here. The bluest of fuel in the wings, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got this modeled now in the thing, and you can set how long it takes to refuel. I've set it to fast, so it takes a little bit of time, but not a huge amount of time. You can set it to real if you really want to sit here and at the gate forever. A cooperating hijacker. So we are boarding. We are uploading our flight plan. It looks very good. It's been a long time since I've been since I've been in the Airbus. Jesus. Okay, we are doing the. You have to get your own drinks. Yep, that's true. Runway 23. We are doing the Hockey 5 departure. We'll insert that. I've been flying the CRJ and the CJ4 so much, and their CDUs are a fair bit different from the Airbus ones, so I'm slowly finding my way around this again here. But I've been looking forward to flying the A320 again. So we're doing ILS runway 12 Zulu with the Yindi transition, which does not appear on here. ILS Zulu runway 12. Okay, well, for some reason it doesn't have that here. Cool. That all looks good though. We don't seem to have any sort of discontinuities here. Let's check up here real quick. Taking off, left turn. That's a bit of a tight turn there. We might do some, probably going to do some heading vectoring here at the end because that's too tight for the Airbus to take, but good enough. We don't need to concern ourselves with that at the moment. Performance. Flaps 1 takeoff. Transition altitude 10,000 feet. V1 134, VR 135, and V2 is 139er. Okay. Up the door. Closed. Predictive wind shear system auto. Interesting. I'd have to check. Oh, is that because it's... maybe it's because it's in op. They might have taken that out. Before start checklist. Alright. The nav lights on. Let's just have a quick look at our doors. All the doors are closed. That's good. So we are pretty much ready for pushback here. So let's get the APU bleed on and fuel pumps on. These are all up there, but I have some buttons down here that I'm pushing. The Apache helicopter is nice. Okay, we're ready for pushback. Engine mode to ignition mode to start, rather. All right. We are going to be cruising up at 38,000. I think we're all set with that. We've set the altimeters. Do our flight controls check after we get pushback. So let's use the pushback toolbar. We'll do a manual pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Easier.
This is ground. Stand by.
And we are going to push back. Our runway is just right there. It's very easy. So we're just going to go straight back. Put the tail to the left. And then we'll be ready for engine start. Oh, I'm not going to blow an engine yet. I don't even know if that's possible in this place. Maybe. Oh, that's cool. It tells me there's an update available.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. The parking brakes are set. You may lift. Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
I love this, how the plane is actually being lifted up a bit.
Standing by for pushback. Please set parking brakes. Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We are cleared for start and push. Parking brakes set. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake. Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
Yeah, we'll start engine 2 first. TCAS turned on here.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake. Parking brake set.
It's engine 2, engine
Parking
1
brake
starting.
set. Lowering aircraft. Ground. You may disconnect. Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a
They've
good
added
flight.
an iPad on the other side now as well,
Thank you and goodbye.
on the co-pilot side, which is new. Taxi lights. We'll wave at the tug. We can do our flight controls check real quick while we wait for that engine. Get full forward, full back, full left, full right, and rudder. That looks good. Yeah, Copilot is invisible. I'm flying this all by myself today. Alright, we've got 2 good engines. Ignition switch can go off. APU can go off. Bleed off. And we're all set. Taxi light is on. We're ready to taxi to our runway and get going. At least I think so. I don't know what I may have forgotten. I guess we will find out if I have forgotten anything. But so far, things are looking all right. Oh, I keep forgetting that I can't really use the rudder. I have to use the joystick for this part. I have to use the tiller. So we've got strobe, landing lights, nose light to come. That's pretty much it. This is a taxiway, right? Yeah, there's the runway. We're on that approach. We're pretty much flying runway heading, and then we are taking off, making a right turn, and we're on our way. Okay. Call the cabin. Landing light strobes.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
And that's it. Adelaide traffic, Qantas 1954, departing runway 23 to the north. Well, that's not it actually. Auto brake max. We need flaps to 1. Ground spoilers armed. And we should do a takeoff test. Takeoff config test. Did I do too much on these flaps? I did. There we go. Now we're set. And here we go. We're gonna go Toga. Mantoga SRS runway auto thrust blue. That's what we like to see. It's 100 knots. There's V1 and rotate, and we're way off on the left of the runway because for some reason the rudders and the ground are just awful. There we go. I've forgotten something, son of a bitch. I'll just have to record it manually after. Following the flight director right now, keeping that black dot there in the middle of the green crosshairs. Gear up, of course, which I forgot. Thrust climb. Aft TCAS standby. I thought I had turned on this TCAS. Oh. There we go, we've cleared that. Doing the southerly departure over the ocean here. That's S flaps 0. Gear is up. Ground spoilers no longer need to be armed. Taxi light, come off. Let's have a look outside. Oh, it's a pretty plane. And let's engage the autopilot. realize that there's more of my devices that are currently off because of that. That might be why that didn't work. No, that did work, which is weird, but okay. It is a beautiful airplane. So we've now turned, so it's interesting, we kind of, that's the sort of the west coast, because Adelaide is on a little bit of a, like a bay, essentially. So we're flying across this bay. The open ocean is in that direction. Alright, 10,000 feet. We can set standard pressure, and we can turn the landing lights off, which that's weird that the landing lights symbol there is still on. I feel like that's a bug, because the switches are all in the off and retracted position. That's odd. I don't know what's doing that. Everything up here is looking good. We've got quite a long flight ahead of us. It'll probably take us more than the 2 hours that we have allotted, but that's fine. We were a bit short yesterday. We started a little bit late, so we're going to be fine here. At some point we'll have to calculate our top of descent. I should probably get on Unicom because I don't know where I set my thing earlier. That is silly. So estimated time of arrival is 2:45 UTC. Current time is 0:49. So basically just under 2 hours. So yeah, it's going to take us about an extra half an hour, but I don't think anyone's streaming after us today, so it's fine. After takeoff checklist is very simple. Gear is up, flaps are 0, autopilot is on. And our altimeter is standard. We're in thrust climb mode. up to 38,000 feet, flight level 380. Nav is engaged, which means the autopilot is following the nice green line. We're currently climbing at just about 2,200 feet per minute. Nice, smooth, steady climb. For the passengers that are back there somewhere behind that door. And so the reason that I wanted to fly to this Alice Springs airport was, first of all, at first I was thinking we'd fly to Kalgoorlie, because it's an awesome name. But it was a bit far away, so we might hop there after this from Alice Springs perhaps. But it will allow us to fly around Ayres Rock in a smaller airplane. So we'll switch away from the airliner next week, and we'll probably take the Piper Arrow, which I have not flown in a while. Either that or, actually no, we're going to do the Kodiak, because I've got the new version of it. New update was just released last week. And I haven't had a chance to try it yet. So we're gonna try that. We're gonna fly that because it's an awesome airplane. $30,000 feet. At the moment, it is just over 21,000 feet. Is where we are now. We are going to go up to 38,000. But right now we're just over 21. This plane doesn't climb super fast, but it climbs like nice and steady. Especially now that it's we're past 10,000 feet, so it's climbing at a 290 knots indicated airspeed. So yeah, they've even got the cabin pressure not necessarily modeled in, but they've got it displayed here now. So the cabin vertical speed it feels like 400 feet per minute, I guess, and because it's more slowly increasing the pressure. So even though we are currently at almost 24,000 feet now, the cabin altitude, I guess, feels like 3,600. 24 degrees in the cabin, that's not bad. Maybe a little on the warm side for my liking, but I guess it's comfortable. Looks like we've got nice weather today for this flight as well, which is good. We can actually check the weather report real quick for Alice Springs. Looks like a little bit of wind, 7 degrees, 32 degrees. Ooh, it is hot there. It's going to be hot there. So Axeman, how has your time been? You have to study Latin, you said? I took Latin in high school many years ago, like 3 or 4 years of Latin. I remember very little of it, but I don't regret doing it. Yes, well, okay. Fair enough. So, but that does mean you must have studied Latin at some point then. It seems like all of us old folks have. Yeah, I bet it did. I also realized that Latin, you know, I know they always say Latin is like the root language for a lot of other languages, and it is definitely true. So many other languages are just built on Latin, or based on it very heavily. Yeah. Yeah, I speak fluent German. It is a lot like that. You're correct. So this is super annoying. Yeah, okay. English is like 30% just Latin words anyway. It's just pronounced in a funny way. Yeah, the root words. Yeah, exactly. Well, and you also see the common relationship in a lot of languages when those words all relate back to Latin words, and then the other languages tie into that as well. I think so. Well, German has a lot more of the features of the Latin language, I guess. Like different genders, and like more so than English. Hey, Rumpo, we are flying to Alice Springs Airport, which is like smack dab in the middle of Australia. It is in the, what is this called? So we are leaving the South Australia province. We're actually flying into the Northern Territory. I guess Alice Springs is somewhere near the Simpson Desert, so it's right in the middle, a desert. There is a very famous rock, though, that we're going to visit next week. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Yeah, exactly, Axeman. It's such a pretty livery, this one. Really is. It looks beautiful. I don't know why my screenshot button does not seem to be working. Oh, that's because that's not the right button at all. Why? That's that. Oh, F12. Okay, I see. There we go. Give me a screenshot. Desert bound. Sam, we are flying to... We're not dessert bound. Dessert comes when we... I mean, I guess in a way it is. I plan on having some dessert after the flight. We're flying to Alice Springs in the Northern Territory, which is kind of right in the middle of your country. And this is literally based on roughly... Actually, it looks like it's very much centered. Here, I'm going to drag this map over here for just a moment and put this on the full screen. I don't know how easy it is to see this line on the stream, but this is where we started down here. Adelaide, we made a little turn up. Straight shot for the next 2 hours. almost to Alice Springs. Well, we're going to do that next week, I think. The idea is that, like, in a week from now, there's some cool places to explore up here in a smaller plane. So, taking the Airbus over there now, so that next week we can take the small Kodiak to do some sightseeing. And we'll have some dessert when we land, Axeman, don't worry. In fact, if you wanted to have dessert at the moment, they're probably, if you ask the flight attendants nicely, they might have some dessert on board. I think we have mango ice cream. Some nice Aussie pavlova? Pavlova, is that what the name of it? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. And beer, I mean, I'm sure people living in the desert have to have beer. A Snickers. That is like a dessert. But we're almost at 35,000 feet now, so the Snickers actually, I bet you Snickers tastes really good. Do they serve beer on the plane? If you're in first class, they might have beer. They definitely have some scotch. Scotch would be good. Not on the flight deck, unfortunately. The flight deck is very dry today. The flight deck needs to make a trip to the liquor store. Need to get the craft services cart to do some catering and deliver some liquor to the flight deck. To the bottle-o. Dad Games, thanks for the follow. Welcome aboard Qantas Flight 1954 to Alice Springs Airport. Yeah, we've got the door open for you, Axeman. Come on back on. Come on back. So the other thing that's really exciting is next week we will have World Update 8. Is that right? I think so. World Update 8. Iberia. I'm assuming this will be all about the Spanish Peninsula? So that could be interesting. I suspect we're going to do 2 more flights in Australia before we head over to check out what's new in the New World Update. Probably not going to do that next week as we have some sightseeing to do in Australia, but we'll do it after that. So we can probably turn the seatbelt signs off. So I gotta see now. I don't know why the landing light still remains on. It's very strange. Okay, so it is some weird bug. It's just, yeah, it's not recognizing it when I do it via my controls. Interesting. Small bug in the fly-by-wire A320NX dev version, but I mean it is literally a development version, but it is probably one of the best planes to fly in the simulator today. Though I am very much looking forward to seeing when the PMDG Boeing 737 comes out. That should be an interesting plane to fly. Though I really wish I could fly the 787 a bit more, but I don't know, the systems are just not as good. I need to try it again. It's been a while. There's a group of modders working on it, and the heavy division group, and they've done a really good job with it, but it's been a while since I've tried it. So we've got Mach Alt Cruise, which means we've reached our cruising altitude. It has now switched us over into managed. The managed speed moved over to Mach speeds, which is going to have us at like about 0.78. Which I think, if I look here, if I can find. That's direct to radio nav, ATC menu.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin and the galley cart shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
See, people are getting their food now. It's got to be, I don't know what the local time is here. 152 Zulu. I guess that flight plan time is coming out of my sim briefing, so that's not accurate. Where's our clock? I think. Come on. Okay, local time. I think that's local time. No, I don't know what that is. 3:18? No idea. Well, it looks like it's somewhere midday. Alright, so I know it's super early, but I like to get our sort of descent, top descent stuff figured out fairly early, so let's check out the calculator. Actually, before we do that, let's have a look at our CDU here, our flight plan. So, scrolling down, our first constraint is 5,500 feet at Liszt. And that's pretty much it, because that would be our... That's probably the start of our approach. So 5,500. If we put that into the calculator, we've got our current altitude. Target altitude will be 5500. So we want to start descending about 102 nautical miles before Liszt, before our target. So back here, we will add a fix now for Liz. Let me just freeze the camera on this so you guys can see it while I look at this. Sorry, so that is, I just want to type it out while I can see it. L-I-S-Z-T. So we go here. And I just screwed some up. I did not want to do that. That's good to know. Fortunately, I don't think it really screwed up too much, did it? Just created a weird screen there. Okay. Lima, India, Sierra, Zulu, Tango is our fix. 105. Let's round it up. Nautical miles. So that should give us A nice circle that we probably can't see it at maximum range yet, no, but we will eventually see that there. And I'm just going to make sure we unmess our flight plan in case I did. There we go. Straighten out that line. Direct to Whiskey Romeo. So now we get to sit back and relax, maybe play some Shack Pets. I think pilots are allowed to do that too. Shack Pets is kind of a low pressure situation, really, unless you're one of the pets, of course. For those that don't know what Shack Pets is, you basically have an app and you vote based on the cuteness of the pets. Sadie versus Nessie. Well, I know which one I have to go for here. $1,677 battles won by Sadie. Wow. I think that's 1678, 1679. That's a lot of Sadie here. Great app, shackpets.com, free, Android, iOS. Highly recommended. I see that, Rumpo. I think I got Sadie on like 4 times out of 7 battles just now. And I picked her as a winner on all of the ones except for there was one with a cute little dog named Willie. Congratulations, winning Shacknews for the day. Speaking of Ham and Hamilton, Formula 1 is back this weekend. Not this weekend, I think. It's next weekend, isn't it? Or is there actually a race this weekend? Oh no, it is this weekend. Grand Prix weekend starts in 10 hours. Oh, that's exciting. The race is at 8 a.m. That's not terrible. $100 bits. Thanks for the cheers. Apparently you have bits. I saw earlier that I think Asif gave out 100 gift subs or something like that during the Halo stream, I think, or maybe a bit earlier today. I saw it in the history of the chat log. So that's exciting. I love the color of the land down here. It's really cool. Not many places that look like this. I now have a 4-day weekend after today. No work on Friday, no work on Monday. I am seriously tempted to do a 13-hour flight in the simulator. Not one that I actually have to sit there for that long, but you know, it seems a little bit silly, but I kind of feel like I wanted to do that. I was going to fly from Vancouver to Hong Kong in the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. Well, exactly. So I might get up, you know, early enough for that and just start flying. And I really, in that case, would have to. I have to see if that, if I still have that plane configured. I mean, I do, unless something drastically changed. I think I can probably make it work. These airliners are really not that complicated to fly. Landing them is a little bit of a different story. They're all a bit different, but once you know how one flight management computer works, they're all kind of the same. It's different terms, different places, different buttons to push, but the end result, you're looking for the same thing. You're looking to get a flight plan with waypoints, altitude, speed constraints, hopefully an approach. So I think I'm gonna give that a try tomorrow. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, so we've actually, okay, the time is sped up a bit now because we're obviously at cruising altitude, no longer climbing. Now it says distance, we have 487 nautical miles remaining. Estimated time to arrival is 0222 UTC. It is currently 1:20 UTC, so basically 1 hour to go, and it is just after 7 p.m. So we're looking to make up a little bit of time here. What's the wind like? We actually got a little bit of a tailwind, only 18 knots. It's probably not going to make a big difference, but at least it's not a crazy headwind or something like that. Take a little tailwind over a lot of headwind any day. Thank you for the follow, Speed NYC. Just planning out my... Change my mind. I'm not going to fly from Vancouver to Hong Kong. It's a bit too long. And literally, I cannot fit it in the day. I would have to get up early. But I can fly from Anchorage, Alaska to Hong Kong in about 10.5 hours. Cathay Pacific, flight 7 So I think I will try to do that flight tomorrow. After breakfast at about 9 o'clock or so. Start flying. Land around 9 p.m. I'm going to try the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner again with the heavy division lot. Time to give that another try. It's such a beautiful plane. That is a long flight plan. Holy cow. Runway 07 right. Okay, well that looks like a pretty decent approach there for that. Oh, we can finally start seeing the fix radius there that we added for our top of descent. So right there, where the turquoise dashed circle crosses our green line, that's when we're going to start descending. That should put us on a good path. So that is only about 300 miles away, maybe a little bit less. Just under 300 miles away. Now the real question that I'm going to have to play around with later is, does my CDU over here work with the 787? Probably not. But that's okay if it doesn't. How are we looking here? 328 miles to go. I don't know why the drone camera keeps sort of slowly tipping over to the side. It's like it's slightly drunk. Definitely getting closer now. What do we got? About 150 miles until we want to start descending. So we are actually, maybe we're making all right time. What we could do is we could start entering our destination data here. It hasn't prompted me to do that yet, but we might as well do it now. So we need a QNH, temperature, wind, and our minimums. We can get QNH 1014. 1014. Temperature, we looked earlier, it was going to be 32. It's gotten warmer. 33 degrees in Alice Springs. Jesus. And the wind has died down. That's nice. 110 at 3. 10/3. Now, for the barometer reading of our minimums, I have to consult my chart, which actually, you know what? We can play around with that a bit. We've got some time. So that we do have support for charts here. And I really wish that it would automatically pull them in based on, you know, it knows my destination. It knows we're going to Yankee Bravo Alpha Sierra. It knows that. It should really, I should not have to type this in again here. Mostly because I hate typing this stuff in. And I don't actually know what to do with it now because that just goes away and no charts ever come up. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be finished and it's broken or if it is not functional yet. I don't really know what I'm doing wrong with that. Do I not have Navigraph configured? I'm guessing this is just not functional yet, unless I'm missing something, because it's just not working. I want to have a real quick look at their documentation. Where did we go? Where are we, plane? There we are. Why are we? Oi! What's happening here? Our drone camera's gotten all screwed up. Okay, this is supposed to work, so the question is, why is it not working for me? When in doubt, consult the documentation. Let's have a look at the fly-by-wire, and by let's have, I mean I'm looking at this on my phone. Fly-by-wire documentation. Features guide, maybe? Links, flight management system, free text. Yeah, it's not in that. Let's try the search. That never usually. EFB Navigraph charts. Okay. Navigraph. All right. So with a valid Navigraph subscription, which I have, fly-by-wire, Flight pad allows access to all Navigator charge from within the flight pad. Yes, you do have to authenticate it, but how do I do that? Before you can use the integration, it will ask you once to authenticate by either scanning a QR code, or it's not asking me that. Because I have done that before. So for some reason, that's just not working for me. And I don't think that there was really any way here to like reset that. Well, I've asked the question, so we will see. In the meantime, I will have to just look at my chart on the other monitor. So our minimum for the ILS, our decision altitude is 2,000 feet. So we'll go plug this into the barrel field. 2,000 on the barrel. We're going to do a full flaps landing configuration. So we are all set. We've got our speeds 206, 187, 145. And our VAP is 131. Good. That's one less thing we need to worry about. We now have just around 80 miles before we start descending. Very nice. Getting close.
Rapids.
Alright, getting closer here. So we are going to be, let's see. We're about 25 or so miles from our top of descent here. We are going to be descending initially down to 5,500. What did I actually set? What is our transition altitude? 11,000? Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. So we will set the altitude to 5,500. And once we get to this dashed light blue teal line, we will push the descent button. Essentially, we will push the altitude button, which will put us to managed descent. looks like another planet down here. Jeez. Crazy how red it is. So, alright, we're close. We're just going to do this a little bit early. I'd rather do it a bit earlier than too late. So, manage descent, please. Engines are going to spool down to idle, which means we can take the camera outside, and it's going to be much quieter in a moment here. And away we go. It's going to keep a constant speed. It should take us down sort of quite nicely. I'm going to turn off the airports and display constraints instead, which we can't really see yet because the ND does some strange stuff at these long distances. It doesn't display all the details when you're this far out still, and then it draws the lines kind of funky because I think I read it's based on the current airplane speed, and at the current speed it can't make the small maneuvers. But we're obviously not going to be flying at Mach 0.77 by the time we get down to the approach waypoints. So. So now our next waypoint is our initial approach fix, I think. Maybe it's the final. No, I think it's our initial approach fix. Yes. See if we can start seeing some of the constraints and as we get a bit closer. So we are, that's right, I do remember. Yeah, it's gonna make us do a pretty tight turn, so at some point actually we will go and switch from nav mode to heading mode basically, because we're gonna need to fly that approach at a little bit of a wider turn. And this, you know, usually ATC would vector us, but we're all alone out here, so we'll have to do it ourselves. It's the first time seeing like a highway down there in a while. It's just been nothing but red rock and deserty ground. coming up on our transition altitude here. I think at 11,000. So we'll set local altimeter, which is 1014. Even though in the sim it is currently 1012, but we know that at our destination it's supposed to be 1014, so we're decelerating to 250 knots. And at this stage, I'm going to switch this over to heading mode so that we can fly a bit more. Oh, but then we lose the managed altitude. Okay, well, that's annoying. You know what? No, we need to actually do heading mode here. We have to. So if that means we have to descend using vertical speed, we'll do that. Speed will still stay with us here. 10,000 feet, we want our landing lights on again. So we're just basically making this turn here, the dotted line, which is too tight for the airplane to actually make. So we're just gonna vector ourselves around so that the turns are not going to be quite so crazy. And once we make that turn, we'll activate, once we get down to 5,500, we'll activate approach mode. We'll slow down to 210 knots, roughly. Get ourselves lined up with a localizer. Turn the landing system on. It is already programmed in. It's looking good. We're going to do a auto brake medium for the landing. You can arm the ground spoilers. Landing lights are on. Flaps to come. The actual airport should be somewhere out that window there. Can't quite really make out anything just yet. There's something over there. This entire area reminds me of one of those reality shows about mining for gold in Australia. Alright, let's activate approach phase so we can slow down. And we will start turning towards our intercept point here. On the approach mode, so glide slope and localizer are armed. Just going to target that waypoint there now, basically. Back into nav. And we're going to go flaps 1. We have a nice, almost 10-mile leg here where we could just slow down because I think we don't intercept the glide slope until that next waypoint there. So I think I can see the runway. It's nice. We got so much visibility here at the moment, which is excellent. Look, star. Oh, this is a pretty view. Oh, that's interesting. I was in the wrong thing here. System. Okay, so still Luke Star. Approach is armed. Localizer. Glide slope star. Let's go flaps 2. A little bit of speed with this, with the speed brakes here.
$2,500.
gear down. Brakes up. Flaps 3. Landing checklist. We've got lights on. Medium auto brake. Gear is down. Flaps 3. Spoilers are armed. I did arm them. There we go. Flaps full in a moment. Again, I don't know why this drone camera keeps changing so drastically. It's very weird. It's like a dirt bike track down there. That's cool. Alright. Flaps full. Landing checklist is complete.
$1,000.
Checked.
$500. $400. $300. 100 above.
Annual flight.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
My reversers don't work again. That's interesting. It's weird, I had them working the other day. I thought, well, regardless, we've landed. Now we just need to back taxi. Yeah, a nice little airport in the middle of the desert, basically. Okay. Parking brake set. Lights off. And that's it. That'll do it. I guess we should probably clean up the airplane. Flaps up. Alright, thanks for joining me. Those of you that chatted, appreciate it. I will catch you next week. We're going to do some smaller flights around here in the area. Don't forget to check out shacknews.com for all your gaming news, guides, interviews, reviews, anything you could wish for. And check out shackpets.com. Really cool app. There's links in the chat as well. And I appreciate you watching. I will catch you again soon, I hope. Take care of yourselves, everybody.